The following program is sponsored by The Greek, Ely's Radio Shack dealer at 570 Altman in downtown Ely, and brought to you as a public service by Georgetown Media in Ely, Nevada. Regional Transportation Commission meeting, August 20th, 2020.
Meeting of August 20th to order.
They just call your names.
Huh?
Do you want to just call your names?
Yeah, I'm here. Wayne.
Richard. BJ.
Mark.
Jim.
George.
Naomi.
Public comment, Mr. George, anything going on?
Same old.
Same old stuff?
Yeah, but I'm here to remind you.
Gone.
I know you've been ignoring me, so I want to remind you that you are ignoring me. Mr. Chairman, the RTC is assisting the city on a regrade on a section of Avenue D between the Prospector Hotel and Wheeler Machinery, along with soil stabilization to prep for a future chip overlay. That project needs to be done under a general improvement district. Not all of the road is paved, and there is no curb, gutter, sidewalk, or ADA compliance there. The traffic in that area is too heavy for just a chip overlay. It appears you're doing a sweetheart job. You need to adhere to adopted city standards. You can't override them. Let me remind you that the city sued me when I put in new curb, gutter, and sidewalk with ADA access after telling me how to do it and then refusing to have the city engineer stake the grade for the project. The city to date has yet to pave back from the road to the curb and gutter with hot mix as has been done with others. The discrimination's got to stop. Mr. Chairman, the ingress egress at the corner of Avenue D and Altman Highway 93 near the new Holiday Inn is much too narrow and does not meet minimum street widths set by Ely City Code. There's a large triangle that's been put in the center to separate traffic, with each lane being approximately 10 foot wide. It's too narrow. And when a large vehicle exits onto Highway 93, it runs over the curb, and then the stop sign has been knocked down 3 times that I've seen myself. The boulder protecting it has been pushed onto the sidewalk, impeding pedestrians, and especially those in a wheelchair. The access is too narrow to allow an emergency vehicle access, let alone a large fire truck or ladder truck. The Holiday Inn is a 3-story structure. The curb does not meet city standards and is not L-shaped on the north side. The curb should have been installed 5 feet from the property line, not 11 feet, which was narrow. The street was narrowed by 6 foot. The north side walkway is not passable by pedestrians, and especially by those in wheelchairs. The county and the city needs to hire engineers and inspectors that abide by the codes that have been adopted. Got to stop the selective enforcement, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I want to remind you that the curb and gutter was not and has not been put in the Mill Street chip overlay project. The whole project should have been done under a general improvement district. Again, you cannot override city regulations. City Council never approved that. On the corner of Campton and Great Basin Boulevard, the Copper Queen continues to drain in its parking lot off onto the sidewalk, which is illegal. The Campton Street access to the Great Basin Boulevard needs to be widened to city standards. It was improperly narrowed and never approved by the City Council. I want to remind you that the city would not allow me to narrow Avenue G when I put in my improvements. Avenue G is considerably wider than Campton. The city sued me when I put in the curb, gutter, and sidewalk on Avenue G, and I followed their directions. Let me caution you against selective enforcement and discrimination. That'll be it for now. I got some more.
Thanks, George. Item 3, discussion possible action approval of Royal RTC Road Springs Steel Project 2020. PWP number WP 2020-357, Mr. BJ.
All right, we received 4 bids for this project. I think we actually had 6 bidders pick up plans and packets, but we did get 4 of them back. All plans that the bids that came in were responsive and responsible and had everything that they needed in there. The low bidder of the project was American Pavement and Preservation at $357,865. And so, I recommend approval of this bid to American Pavement and Preservation.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay, so I was up at the courthouse when when Dave and Nicole opened the bids
Mhm.
and whatnot, and I was really surprised by the drastic dollar amount, by American Pavement under the others, so I just wanna make sure that, Dave came back here and he made sure that their proposal included everything that we asked for, the prep of the streets beforehand, the traffic control, all of that, none of that is on us.
No, this is all included, and specifically some of the things you're talking about with the prep and everything else, when you actually look at it, you know, their prep work is actually higher than a lot of the other bids on there. They actually, you know,
Oh, okay.
say won the award, the bid by actually putting down the slurry cheaper than the others.
I was just surprised, I'm ecstatic at that number, that's great.
Yeah,
I had the exact same question. There's a big difference there.
there
We've
is.
had bid openings there at the county where the difference is so vast, you wonder what the heck they bid, did they all bid, apples against apples? And this is, Martin, that's a good thing, 'cause that's exactly what I looked at. This is $125,000, $120,000 from the next lowest, and it's almost $200,000 between them. So to making sure, like, as we discussed this, I'm okay with it, is to make sure that they bid this, that the job was bid the same, because that's a lot of money left on the table.
But I see this, I didn't have that on my copy, I wasn't looking at this, I see
Yeah.
this now. So.
Yeah, it took, we had, I mean, this is a very quick turnaround time from opening an hour ago to sitting in this meeting. to
Oh, yeah.
And so we quickly come in here, so there's nothing that came out, with a compilation that makes this question.
All four companies are from out of town, right?
Yes.
So where's this American pavement from? No?
I believe American Pavement is out of Las Vegas.
Okay.
They have done work for the county in the past. I think the last time was 2013, something like that.
And, you know, the RTC chose this time to go out and actually, seek bids for the local projects where their mobilization, everything is included in it to get here. In the past, the RTC has gone back and actually piggybacked with a bid that they did in Clark County or somewhere else. And then what truly is tough to come in and verify is when, yeah, you can come in here and you can, obviously, he'll honor his, you know, unit price costs and different things that are going. But what they come in here is, those bids, they were not bidding to mobilize to Ely. And so there are certain things that make it very difficult that we have no way of verifying. And so this way, we feel comfortable that, hey, we're not being overcharged for mobilization costs, that we have no way of holding him to it. And so,
Yeah. And so I think it's great because, I mean, the American comes in under than what we actually budgeted for just on the county side of it.
yes, that's right.
So that's awesome, that money's going back into the RTC, so
Can you
I'm
remember,
good with the answer that you supplied there, I'm perfectly good with it, so.
Can you remember what we budgeted for the project in the RTC?
It was close to 350 per the city and 350 per the county is what we
Yeah.
budgeted.
Is that right?
Yeah, so we were expecting 600,000.
any other questions, other
Yeah.
comments?
It's up to you guys.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
okay. Motion second for discussion, all in favor?
Alright.
Okay. And for us, a date for next RTC meeting. Is it coming up, we need to, everybody is.
Absolutely.
I think we should probably have one about November.
We just got a regular meeting in September.
Pardon me?
We just have a regular meeting in September.
I don't even think we need to have, that's just not coming up. But if we do it in November, we can finish up what we got on the plate, plus, take care of any business prior to the start of the new year.
Yeah, if there's nothing coming
Just
up.
talking about when the next meeting is.
The next meeting,
Do you have anything coming up that you know of where we'd have to meet again?
For what?
Just for
RTC.
Well,
RTC projects?
Any RTC projects between now and January?
We're going to, next week, we are doing the second road stabilization process on Mitchell and Oxborough and Avenue D. for the city.
Okay, but that's already been approved, so,
Oh, well, yeah, so, no, nothing coming up.
okay. Well, then it's just, if something comes up, we'll call a meeting.
Call mail meeting, schedule a meeting.
So in the meantime, we can look at our meetings, 1 in November, early December, or just wait till the first of the year.
First of the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm good.
You get a reprieve,
I'm fine.
you can sleep in,
Yeah.
or play golf.
Good.
Not January.
Not
I
January.
don't know, I did last year, I did
Not if
last
he's
year.
here, not if he's here, you're not gonna be January.
Yeah, I did last year.
There's a few projects that might come up, but as you just said, it's all been approved already. So it's just a matter of whether we actually get to them time frame wise and weather and all that.
And this is weather obviously dependent. And so the way the thing is set up, that we want to get this thing rolling as quick as we possibly can. But there was a provision in there that as it got closer when they were gonna go to work, if we would look at, say, the long-term weather forecast. And if for some reason we can see the temperatures dropping and it may be questionable whether they'll make it, then we would postpone it until the spring. But the intention with this is to get it done.
Be done by the
Very short.
fiscal year. Right, be done by the fiscal year.
If it gets postponed
If
until
it
next year,
starts
yeah.
snowing
Our
in
desire is to get it done
September.
in September,
This
as long as,
September.
this September, as long as weather holds.
Oh,
If for some reason it doesn't, we have put it in here, then we will pick it up in the spring.
Okay.
And be done before the fiscal year.
Yeah,
Any ideas how long the roof project would take? Or maybe, maybe
It's,
80 first or roof second?
I don't know, that's all in their scheduling, how they want to come back in and do it. And so, it isn't gonna take them, this isn't like months worth of work by no means.
Right,
They're
that's
gonna
what
come
I'm
in and they get through roof in a couple days.
You must have get mobilized up here, and hell, they can wipe it out in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
For
oh,
sure,
yeah,
for sure.
if that.
Yeah, and I think at the long end is a week in Ruth and a week in Ely would probably be the long end.
Yeah.
Approve the RTC minutes of July 16, 2020.
I'll make the motion to approve those minutes. I listened to George read through half of them, exactly word for word again. And I read everything before, so I've been listened to and approved. I just found no problem with it.
I'll second.
Motion second for discussion, all in favor? Aye, done. Comment, anything else, George? You got something else you have to comment?
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Chairman, I want to remind you that Carol McKenzie has yet to correct that non-ADA sidewalk that she put outside her fence along the state highway. She made rules and regulations she was on the planning commission, she was a county commissioner, and she needs to take care of business. She's no better than the rest of us. She made the rules, not you and I. Mr. Chairman, there's no ADA access on the corner of Avenue C and 11th Street, nor 13th Street and Avenue M. Both are RTC projects, and they need to be corrected. Rick Stork headed that. Hasn't been corrected yet. Nothing's been done on 7th Street at the railroad crossing across from the old grade school. They've taken away my access. I can't do maintenance along my fence line. You've got riprap there. They're putting the handicap out into the street. That riprap goes all the way up to the street. There is no walkway. It was a federal project. Again, federal ADA regulations allow for ADA access and there is none. The railroad needs to address it. Let's see. Earlier we talked about 15th Street, and I've not seen anything on the agenda on it. The street is going to be narrowed once the median goes in. There is no sidewalk for pedestrians to walk on, and it needs to be addressed. That hasn't been addressed at all. Let's see here. The road project begins at Great Basin Boulevard, the State Highway project. Proper access must be addressed coming off of Clark Street, Canton Street, Avenue I, Avenue K, and Avenue L. They don't meet minimum city standards. Now's the time to address it before the thing is finished. I want to remind you, Keith Carson has yet to fulfill his RTC agreement in regards to the paving of Orson and Ruby. He has not finished the valley gutter nor the curb and gutter. That's it for now, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anything else? We're adjourned.
Yeah.
That
$350.
Brent send you a thing on it, you know, what you guys did.
So BJ, I didn't get to talk to Casey yesterday.
Your dad's tombstone?
Yeah, I did.
He's thinking if we can get all that, we can have some time to work down by September.
Martin,
I talked
How you
to
doing?
him.
Come down tomorrow.
Yeah, he called me.
Going down to Ranch Road tomorrow?
Once you get that turned in, it's
In parentheses, huh?
Yeah, I'm judging.
Oh, you're the judge.
I tell you, I don't want them sticking their front nose in
That means you're gonna be hungry.
because she made a camera.
Yes, for Thursday.
Thirsty.
Okay, so that's it.
Cold beer.
Because we're getting it, we're moving along with it, just sticking their nose in it.
Fine,
sure.
I got more rainy, gonna come down, she give me affected maybe a taco.
Blockades up
Pretty
on
cool.
the
Ever had those?
Everything tacos.
Yeah, that's pretty
Well,
good.
that'd be good.
That's good. You know you
Then you know
from
what
that.
Trees on
about the
there,
state.
trees on
Should be
there.
doing trays on hamburgers,
Doing all the work is
done.
It's not too far down the line.
Alright, well, we'll see you tomorrow.
The guys,
I talked to
Yep.
Phil,
like,
yes.
smelling it is young and high school.
Schedule meeting with you.
Okay.
Yes, yes, and we don't call it.
I will.
What's that?
Oh,
Yeah,
don't
make it
make
go
me
good.
cry.
Yeah, it's just.
This has been a Georgetown production. George Chatch is reporting.